reads as you join me on this very warm Thursday evening as we continue our journey through the book on the shortness of life by Annaeus Seneca. I'm still kind of in the process of setting up. I was not prepared, but I do apologize. So if you could bear with me just while I get everything ready, let me know how your day has been. Let me know if you can hear me properly. What your thoughts and takeaways have been from this book, all the things that we have covered so far. I really would like to know. I'd really like to hear that because I feel as I am gaining in wisdom, I have a sincere hope that you all are benefiting from everything that I am presenting to you. However, as well, I'm not also only just looking for the good criticisms. I really would like to know if there's anything you would like me to change or have a look at. Maybe if it is my format or my timings. Yeah, let me know because at the end of the day, a little bit of criticism helps one grow. So yeah, welcome back. And I will just get everything ready. Today is a nice hot day. I'm feeling blue. I just want to set all of this up just so that I can deliver the best quality I can to you. Just bring up all my notes that I've prepared for these chapters today. Correct me if I am wrong. We will be looking at chapters 11 and 12. So these chapters, they do ask a question that is uncomfortable, precisely because it is so direct. The question is, are we actually living our lives or just trying desperately to keep them going? So before we begin, tap the like button, please, so more readers can find this conversation. Follow the page if you enjoy slow reading and big questions, and tell me in the comments section, please, what is one thing that makes you feel most alive? For me, it's my family. My family makes me feel most alive. So for you, is it a person? Is it a place, a practice, or a moment? Please, we'd like to hear from you, and let's interact. So keep your answers in mind because the author Seneca is about to put them to the test. He is not really arguing that a long lifespan is unimportant. He is arguing that length and fullness are different things. So earlier in his work, he has criticized the busy life, a life dispersed among ambition, status, other people's demands and distractions. In chapter 11, he turns the paradox. People who have not truly lived often become the most frightened of death. Then chapter 12 widens the critique. Even a life of apparent leisure can be wasted when pleasure, consumption, and constant stimulation take control. So let's read chapter 11 first. And as I read, listen, please, for the difference between having time and possessing your time. So I'll just have a quick drink before we go into the reading of chapter 11. It is a hot day, and if you're in the UK, try to stay hydrated. Please. Chapter 11. In a word, do you want to know for how short a time they live? See how they desire to live long. Broken down old men beg in their prayers for the addition of a few more years. They pretend to be younger than they are. They delude themselves with their own lies, and they are willing to cheat themselves as if they could cheat fate at the same time, when at last some weakness reminds them that they are mortal. They die, as it were, in terror. They may rather be said to be dragged out of this life than to depart from it. They loudly exclaim that they have been fools and have not lived their lives, and declare that if they only survive this sickness, they will spend the rest of their lives at leisure. At such times, they reflect how uselessly they have labored to provide themselves with what they never enjoyed, and how all their toil has gone for nothing. But those whose life is spent without any engrossing business may well find it ample. No part of it is made over to others, or scattered here and there. No part is entrusted to fortune, is lost by neglect, is spent in ostentatious giving, or is useless. All of it is, so to speak, invested in good interest. A very small amount of it, therefore, is abundantly sufficient. And so, when his last day arrives, the wise man will not hang back, but will walk with a steady step to meet death. Notice the irony in chapter 11 there. The people who say life is short may be the people who have given most of it away. Seneca is not mocking the desire to live. He is exposing the panic of realizing too late that you have been absent from your own life. Have you ever had a moment that abruptly reset your priorities? It could be illness, grief, a move, a birthday, a loss of job, becoming a parent. You do not need to share the details, but please type reset if you know that feeling. So, the author's ideal is striking. Not someone eager to die, but someone who is not dragged away from life because they have been truly present for it. Chapter 11 has a sharp central claim. The fear of death can sometimes be a fear that we do not yet that we have not yet started living. So Seneca sees many people postponing life. They tell themselves, when this project ends, when I retire, when I have enough money, when I become less busy, then I will rest. I will read, I will love, I will think, I will travel, or I will become myself. But the promise of later has no natural ending point. His alternative is not passivity, it is ownership. The wise person, in Seneca's view, does not allow every hour to be claimed by public pressure, luck, or neglect. Their time is intentionally used so even a short life can feel compassionate, it can feel complete. So I would like to put a the sort of distinction on screen. Being busy, feeling needed, or being and feeling alive. These overlap sometimes, but they're not the same. Which one receives most of your energy right now? Also, I think we should be fair to the author. I mean, some people are not giving time away because they are careless. They are working, they're caregiving, they're surviving or living with obligations they did not choose. So his language can sound severe if we forget that. The practical question is not where have I failed to control every minute? It is where do I have even a small area of choice and how might I inhibit it more deliberately? So now the author anticipates an easy escape from his argument. We might say, fine, I will leave ambition behind and simply enjoy myself. Chapter 12 asks whether pleasure can become another kind of captivity. Not all rest is restoration, not all leisure is freedom. So before we read, drop a word in the comments. What does rest genuinely restore, or does rest genuinely restore you? And when does it leave you feeling more scattered? I'll go through chapter 12. Perhaps you will ask me whom I mean by busy men. You need not think that I allude only to those who are hunted out of the courts of justice with dogs at the close of the proceedings, those whom you see either honorably jostled by a crowd of their own clients or contemptuously hustled in visits of ceremony by strangers who call them away from home to hang about their patrons' doors, or who make use of the praetor's sales by auction to acquire infamous gains which some day will prove their own ruin. Some men's leisure is busy in their country house or in their couch in complete solitude. Even though they have retired from all men's society, they still continue to worry themselves. We ought not to say that such men's life is one of leisure, but their very business is sloth. Would you call a man idle who expends anxious finicking care in the arrangement of his Corinthian bronzes? Valuable only through the mania of a few connoisseurs, and who passes the greater part of his days among plates of rusty metal? Who sits in the palaestra, shame that our very vices should be foreign, watching boys wrestling? Who distributes his gangs of fettered slaves into pairs according to their age and color? Who keeps athletes of the latest fashion? Why do you call those men idle who pass many hours at the barber's while the growth of the past night is being plucked out by the door by the roots, holding councils over each several hair, while the scattered locks are arranged in order, and those which fall back are forced forward onto the forehead? How angry they become if the shaver is a little careless, as though he were shearing a man? What a what a white heat they work themselves into if some of their mane is cut away, if some part of it is ill arranged, if all their ringlets do not lie in regular order. Who of them would not rather that the state were overthrown than that his hair should be ruffled? Who does not care more for the appearance of his head than for his health? Who would not prefer ornament to honor? Do you call these men idle, who make a business of the comb and looking glass? What if those who devote their lives to composing, hearing, and learning songs, who twist their voices intended by nature to sound best and simplest when used straightforwardly through all the turns of futile melodies, whose fingers are always beating time to some music on which they are inwardly meditating, who, when invited to serious and even sad business, may be heard humming an air to themselves? Such people are not at leisure, but are busy about trifles. As for their banquets, by Hercules, I cannot reckon them among their unoccupied times when I see with that anxious care they set out their place, how laboriously they arrange the girdles of their waiters' tunics, how breathlessly they watch to see how the cook dishes up the wild boar, with what speed, when the signal is given, the slave boys run to perform their duties, how skilfully birds are carved into pieces of the right size, how painstakingly wretched youths wipe up the spittings of drunken men. By these means, men seek credit for taste and grandeur, and their voices follow them so far into their privacy that they can neither eat nor drink without a view to effect. Nor should I count those men idle who have themselves carried hither and thither in sedans and litters, and who look forward to their regular hour for taking this exercise as though they were not allowed to omit it. Men who are reminded by someone else when to bathe, when to swim, when to dine, they actually reach such a pitch of languid effemin- effeminacy as not to be able to find out for themselves whether they are hungry. I have heard one of those luxurious folk, if indeed we ought to give the name of luxury to learning the life and habits of a man, when he was carried in men's arms out of the bath and placed in his chair, say inquiringly, "Am I seated?" Do you suppose that such a man as this, who did not know when he was seated, could know whether he was alive, whether he could see, whether he was at leisure? I can hardly say whether I pity him more if he really did not know, or if he pretended not to know this. Such people do really become unconscious of much, but they behave as though they were unconscious of much more. They delight in some failings because they consider them to be proofs of happiness. It seems the part of an utterly low and contemptible man to know what he is doing. After this, do you suppose that playwrights draw largely upon their imaginations in their burlesques upon luxury? By Hercules, they omit more than they invent in this age. Inventive in the in this alone, such a number of incredible vices have been produced that already you are able to reproach the playwrights with omitting to notice them. To think that there should be anyone who had so far lost his senses through luxury as to take some one else's opinion as to whether he was sitting or not. This man certainly is not at leisure. You must bestow a different title on him. He is sick, or rather dead. He only is at leisure who feels that he is at leisure, but this creature is only half alive if he wants someone to tell him what position his body is in. How can such a man be able to dispose of any time? So let's bring the two chapters together. First, the author's strongest insight is that time is not only lost through work, it can also be lost through avoidance. Chapter 11 shows the ambitious and distracted person confronting mortality too late. Chapter 12 shows the pleasure seeking person passing time without inhabiting it. One is driven by demands, and the other is carried by desires. Both can become strangers to themselves. Second, these chapters are about attention. For the author, a life feels long when the mind is present enough to receive it. That is why he praises a person whose time is not scattered. He is not measuring life in years, achievements, or experiences collected. He is measuring it by conscious use. Third, his idea of the wise person is demanding but useful. The wise person can meet death steadily because they are not waiting for life to begin. This does not mean they have completed every ambition, solved every problem, or avoided grief. It means they have not made their peace dependent on an endlessly postponed future. But we should resist taking Seneca too literally or too harshly. His argument can sound like every form of uh, entertainment can be comfort or dependence, and they can be construed as moral failure. So that is too simple. Rest, pleasure, friendship, celebration, and even mindless enjoyment can have a real place in a good life. People do need recovery. No one can be reflective every single hour. He who writes from a position of he also writes from a position of considerable privilege and can understate structural pleasures. Poverty, illness, caregiving, discrimination, and insecure work limit. They work limit people's control over time. It would be unjust to tell someone overwhelmed by necessity that their life is merely mismanaged. So, a far modern reading is not never relax, never enjoy yourself, and control every minute. It is examine what is directing your life. Is it chosen commitment, or is it fear, habit, status, appetite, and other people's expectations? Does your rest return you to yourself or help you avoid yourself? That's a very important question. That is the challenge of these chapters. Seneca does not ask us to make life perfectly productive. He asks us to make it more consciously ours. So, if we take one thing from this very quick session, let it be this: a fulfilled life may not require more time, it may require a more honest relationship with the time already here. So, I'd love everyone to leave with one small practice rather than a vague feeling of guilt. So, for the next 7 days, choose one protected pocket of time, whether it's when you wake up in the morning or if it's before you go to bed at night. Yeah, 10 minutes is enough. No productivity goal, no performance, no need to make it impressive. So do stuff, do things like read, walk, journal, sit with someone you love, or simply ask, "What am I doing with this hour, and is it mine?" That is a modest answer to the author. Um, so thank you for joining me today and reading chapters 11 and 12 with me. And if this conversation has given you something to sit with, please like the stream, share it with a reader or friend who has been feeling stretched uh, thin, and follow me, Michael Reads, for the next chapter uh, on the shortness of life. And before you go, leave a word in the comments. What do you want to reclaim more intentionally? Is it time, attention, rest, courage, or something else? So, thank you so much for joining me, uh, everyone. So, read slowly and live deliberately. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next couple of chapters. We're almost through with this book. So, I will be announcing in the communities page what book we will be going through next, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be exciting. And I've just decided whenever I've got a book this big, rather than stick to my usual schedule of two lives per week, I might just do books that are really valuable and have a lot of insight in them. But a book like this, I could do just daily lives, so that we can get through them as quick as possible, because some of the books in the lineup are considerably larger. So yeah, what's your thoughts on that? Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care and